movie manual. Last episode, I guess, came out a few weeks ago. It's March 25th right now. So, no, just kidding. We've had a year off hiatus.
It's been 12 months. Doing this.
Life came at us fast. It was all good things. We will get more into that as we kind of do this on a more regular basis. This is kind of just an intro episode, sort of announcing that we are back. We're going to continue doing the movie manual and lots more to come, right, Brian? Why don't you tell them a little bit about our vision? What are we trying to do here?
Well, first off, we're playing with technology, right? Because every time, if you look back at the annals of what the movie manual is, we're side by side in the same place, and we're trying to do something where you can be where you are, I can be where I am, or we can get together and just seeing how that stuff plays. So that's a new wrinkle to the game that we're definitely going to be trying out. We did rom-coms last season, which was great. Still call it a mini season, but looking forward into how tonight, specifically how the movie industry has kind of changed with eyeballs being at home, not being able to gather in place, going on with what's going on with us, and we can't really ignore it, but we're trying to get away from that. But also other movies that we could get into and just having fun trying to take a load off and get our minds off of kind of what's been occupying the brain space.
No, I think, do you know about Harry Potter? Did you either read the books or watch the movies?
Always watch the movies.
Yeah, so you watched the Harry Potter movies, right?
I watched the first Harry Potter movie.
Okay, all right. Not a big Daniel Radcliffe fan, I see. I think maybe one of the things that we'll do now, of course, the idea is to expand here. You've seen us here. You've also seen us over at BBYK, where we do judo chop, MMA. We've done sports podcasts. The idea is to kind of have a couple of different things under an umbrella. We're still percolating on that. If you guys have any ideas on a name, put it down, because we're still thinking, trying to find something that I think resonates with us, right?
Yeah, so, no, that's absolutely where we are. So yeah, we've kind of independently always been interested in broadcasting or creating content and being creatives just as an outlet. And after doing so many projects together, it seemed like a good time to try and really try something and kind of go in on it. And I think we're both excited. We've been doing a lot of extra work after our regular work, kind of putting a lot of brain power into this kind of project. And yeah, it's moving forward, which is fantastic.
Right. Anyways, you guys were probably like, "Oh, he brought up the Harry Potter thing, didn't go anywhere with it." Where I was going with that is the bad guy, Voldemort, right? They never say his name, right? It's like he should not be named. So I think maybe for on the movie manual, it's that the virus that will not be named. This will be a wrestling on that, right? You can hang out with us. We can talk movies, and we can leave our worries aside. As soon as you guys log off, go back to the real world. And it's not like you're going out to the real world; you're just staying indoors.
Clicking one tab over. If you know anything about our past presentations, Viet is really well prepared and has a lot of insightful thoughts into things, and I watch the movie and just have a running commentary. So just imagine our dynamic like a balloon, always kind of potentially floating away, and Viet just playing catch with himself to make sure that I don't just float away completely.
Right. But then sometimes I let go of the balloon.
And then we gotta come back to Voldemort.
It really goes off.
Finish your joke.
Right. So tonight, just as a starter, I thought that it would be a good opportunity for us to look at the movie industry in general and talk about how, first of all, the movie industry has changed dramatically. If you've been to a movie theater lately, I don't think a lot of people go to movie theaters nearly as much as they used to, except for the big blockbuster experiences. I think think the Marvel franchise, right? People were counting down the days to go see the Endgame. It almost felt like an event. People were really excited to go see that. But if you've been to a movie theater lately, they've changed it up. It's not like all these rows of seats trying to pack as many people in there, because people frankly aren't going. So what they what did they do? They tried to make a better uh, consumer experience. They have these bigger, more comfortable chairs that recline back, big
Yes.
armrests. You're not having to fight with the people next to you. So that's kind of where the movie industry is going. They were trying to adapt to people maybe not going out as much except for like the big events. And so maybe they charge more of a premium, give you a better experience, right?
Right. So I think what they also did was tried to combine experiences too. So a lot of times, they have the standards of the late 5 to 6 start time, 7 to 8, and then the late kind of run between 9 and 10 that starts ends around or just before midnight, right? And people were kind of made to choose like, oh, we're gonna do dinner and a movie, right? Let's go do dinner. We'll do a movie. So like for the blockbusters, like you said, those are going to draw. Those are going to sell, 80% capacity, 100% capacity on a weekend night. And these other movies, we're going to be like, well, maybe we'll get a crowd for the late because people are going to have an early dinner or they're going to switch those and go to a bar after something. But what a lot of places have done has combined the experience. So not only have they added the chairs, but they've added sort of a restaurant quality food option and beer option. These are more sort of a Cadillac experience inside the theater and saying, hey,
Oh yeah,
rather than go
Alamo
do
Draft House type
right,
stuff, right?
that's exactly what I was thinking about. Rather than let's do two different activities that's going to keep us out for 6 hours, we could go to watch a movie and eat, and then also go to the bar afterwards or have a drink while we're watching the movie. So kudos to them for seeing like, well, we've got a captive audience. Let's feed them and make them happy and do it here.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. And I was just thinking about like how my wife and I when we went when we'd go out to movies, there's a place by us here. Wasn't by us at the time, and it's weird because now that I've moved into the area, my wife and I moved back in December. We haven't gone since, and now we're not going to go, right? But like, there's a place by Pike and Rose I pick, and like they have these like sofas. Like it's so you sit on a sofa, so you
Yeah.
can like sit there with a sofa, and yeah, you can order drinks. You can order like beers and martinis and stuff like that, and so you're definitely right. And I've never been to an Alamo Draft House, but I mean, like that's definitely seems like a cool experience,
It
and
does. So
so
yeah, I've been to the there's an old place in old like East Dallas, maybe North Dallas, where I had that experience. We're sitting on a couch. It was really funny because I went to like I think I went to watch Ted with like my good buddy, another guy, and our options were like a couch together. I was like, okay, I guess we'll do that. And then we didn't go back to that movie theater. We did not go back to that movie theater again unless we had to. We found other options, but it was a novel experience and a cool setup, and it's kind of amazing how just the seating and seating arrangement can like make a different vibe and more relaxed and comfortable. Like it's a place I would love to go with my wife, or kids or something. I'm not to that age yet. We have young kids, but we haven't done a movie theater experience, and I think because I have kids and have had them for a while, like when we have like a date night or something like that, like going to the movies is not what we want to do because the experience is not. I want to communicate with my wife, right? That's something
yeah,
that's changed in my habits. So unless it was a movie that I really wanted to go see, and really the only thing I want to go see in the movie theater is something that's going to be special in the movie theater. So it's an action film, something big, something like I'm not a Michael Bay guy, but if he did something like I'd go watch it. I'd want to see that in the movie theater, right? That's kind of my approach to
sure,
movie experiences at this point, and especially because TVs have gotten so nice and so big that
yeah.
you can have a similar experience at home now.
Yeah, and not to mention that you can also watch movies at home. Tons of
Right.
movies on streaming services.
Yeah.
We're about to get that in a moment. That's actually like our main topic of conversation is sort of with the virus that shall not be named and how that has affected the industry and how we're starting to get. Um, I think movie theaters, the only thing that it has over any of the other experiences is sort of like timeliness. It's the first, right? You get to be the first to experience it. It's sort of that early opportunity to watch something. So if like you're a big fan of an actor or a director or like this movie just really vibes with you, or you just watch the trailer and you're like, hey, that looks dope. I want to go watch it. You might not want to wait 3-4 months before it comes out to Blu-ray or on streaming services, and that's really the only reason why you would go to movie theaters. And just to kind of add on to those kind of like concierge, like premium movie theater experience. They're movie theaters with beds.
Mm-hmm.
They're literally movie theaters with beds in them, and you can like just go and
So
I
before we do move on
don't
to
take a
kind of
nap.
the topic at hand, I don't mean to cut you off,
Nope,
but I'm
go ahead.
going to. How much?
I'm
Just a
used to
quick
it.
personal question I have because I definitely dig your insights into things. How much do you think it mirrors people's lifestyle now? In that people actually don't go to games anymore because the experience is much better at home because they can still plug away at their phone, they can check their things. Do you think that kind of has an effect as well, where people, even though it's only a 2 hour experience for the most part, going to the movie theater, like if we're willing to put it off a month or whatever, 2 months to get to the home, then I can like watch. It's hard for me now to watch a screen without looking at another screen, which is like a bad habit. But it's a way that like a lot of people experience things these days. Do you think there's a mirroring of that?
Yeah, but also like bad habits have a way of just becoming habits, right? I
Right.
don't even know if like your kids now. No, I'm just gonna caveat that by saying Brian has incredible kids, and I think part of why they're so well behaved and such good kids is because he actually has this like great parenting strategy. Pro parenting tip to all the parents out there: limit the screen time.
Yeah.
They limit it to, you want to know how much screen time those kids have? It's this much.
This much.
There's no
Although,
screen
can
time.
we talk? I mean, if we want to talk about the virus that shall not be named, that has been loosened ever so slightly.
Hey, no, that's understandable, man. That's tough.
After
I totally
homeschool.
understand
Yeah.
like parents like they are like we're on these conference calls and it's like, Mom, where's my sandwich? It's like, Dad.
So yeah, so I think they've watched two since we've been at home for a couple weeks now, but like,
What did you let them watch? VeggieTales?
oh no, 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 we just got Disney Plus. So
Oh, nice, premium.
Suzanne's a big fan of like classic Disney movies, like even before like what I consider classic, or like the Disney Vault right now, the stuff that's in there, kind of like the Lion King.
White people. Dude, they watch all of it. I
They
don't
do
even.
watch it
Margaret's
all.
watched all of those.
Yeah.
David's watched all of those. Like white people like that old Disney stuff, man. Like
Is it
I'm
because
like,
it mirrors their experience? No,
they're like,
yeah.
yeah,
So,
it's like these movies are great. It's like white people dealing with other white people.
oh
And
man,
then the
that's great.
minorities were in the background like cleaning stuff.
Holding the boom, he just happened to get caught on camera.
Right.
Oh man, that's great. So yeah, so didn't want to totally sidetrack you, but I kind of did. But yeah, no, let's get into kind of the topic of the day.
Yeah, and the topic of the day is how the movie industry is again having to adapt. If you're talking about, you're a struggling business and you can't get people in the door, and now people literally can't come to your
Yeah.
establishment, what do you do? How do you change up the game? Well, you could do two things. You could postpone the premiere when you show the movie, which some of the big blockbusters have kind of like pushed it back, and just kind of hope that the virus that shall not be named, that entire thing blows over and people start going back to the movie theater. Then you release it.
Right.
The other option is just you strike a deal with one of the streaming services and go direct to the streaming services, which means that a movie that you would have taken months to go see, be able to see on a like through a streaming service or on Blu-ray, you can see much earlier. A couple examples: Disney is starting to do this. Frozen 2, you probably have been able to see that on streaming or Blu-rays until the summer. That was long.
Got
That
moved up.
actually live last weekend. I watched it with my wife. It's worth the watch. It's worth the watch. Songs aren't nearly as catchy as the first one, but it's it. I was talking with my wife about that. This is like another episode, but how many Disney sequels like do you even like talk about? Like most of them are direct to
Yeah,
to
unless it's
video.
Toy Story. I mean, Toy Story can make Toy Story 52. I think we're on now.
Those yeah, Pixar's are different, but I guess you're right. Yeah, Toy Story. Yeah, are they gonna make any more? I think
There's
like
a
wasn't.
fourth one.
Yeah, but the fourth one was it. Did you watch
Is
it?
it? No, I haven't yet. Actually, just asked my friend if I should watch it, and I thought the story was
Yes,
complete
it's
after
very good.
three.
No,
and
4
they
is
went
really
to
good.
4.
4 is a farewell story, though, I think. Watch
Four is
it.
a what?
4 is a farewell story,
A
I
farewell
think, and a
story.
very good one, a very well done one.
Okay.
I mean, it's Toy Story. It's going to pull at
Is
the
it
heartstrings.
is the final scene where she's looking at Woody and she just throws him in the trash and picks up her smartphone? Is that what happens? And now she's got a virtual Woody. It's like a
Yeah, yeah,
gigapets are
yeah,
going to come back. Zuzu, like let's hedge.
yeah.
Let's talk about stocks. Gigapets, they're coming back.
So, what was the topic of this podcast again?
Welcome to a Brian podcast.
Gigapets are.
I want that to be the name of this podcast. Yeah, no, so things have changed already, even before they went straight to streaming and kind of attempted to solve their issue was to circumvent their partners in the game, the brick and mortar, movie theaters, which is like risky business, right? Like they may, what is that term, like cutting off your nose to spite your face, like this is going to pass some point, hopefully, obviously. But what are we going to do? Is this going to become the new way? Because once you cut out an entire segment and you don't have to get that distribution, the ultimate user in distribution with Netflix is willing to pay you directly or comparably, what do you even need to spend any time for? Because as I understand it, movie theaters don't make money on showing the movie and getting tickets to the movie. They do it on the ancillary stuff, which is like why Alamo Drafthouse and places like that started upping their game because, hey, we can sell them more stuff, right?
Right.
So
yeah, unless you thought it was normal to spend $10 on a Coke or something like that.
Yeah. So they've made this decision, and now I think they're going to see people are okay with this. And that's because they have the big screens, because they have 4K, because they like the experience is going to be good enough for them that like, well, do we need to go back? And maybe there will be places like that you can go watch it, and some will survive, right? That I think going to the movies is a thing that's kind of been ingrained in people, so I think it'll last to some extent. But who knows if it comes back in full force? AMC. What's that?
With the fun fact, but with the virus that shall not be named, I feel like it's coming up a lot. Even it's hard to avoid it. But drive-in movie theaters are sure having a revival.
Awesome. Yeah. Have you ever been to one?
I have not. Is there one in the area? We should go and we'll live stream that. Live stream our experience.
I watched one movie at one in I think Corsicana, Texas, just outside of Dallas.
Drive-in movie theater.
Yeah.
It's not social distancing. It's perfect. It's the perfect medium.
Yeah, I watched the not Monuments Men. It was a Matt Damon movie where like you walk through doors and people were wearing hats and you could like transport across the city, like there were special doors.
Oh my gosh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
It also had Anthony Mackie.
Emily Blunt was in that movie.
Yeah, Emily Blunt, Anthony Mackie.
He was a he was a politician, right?
Yeah, he was basically a senator who was like gonna be being prepped to be potential presidential candidate. I think he was kind of this like rising star in the party, and met kind of the woman of his dreams and went on a fairy tale with her. It's not a fairy tale. Man, I wish I could remember the name of that movie right now.
You have the internet. You have
it's something, man. What is it? All right, you vamp for a little bit. I'll figure this out.
Oh. Okay. Well, so again, we were talking about how that industry has changed, but I do feel like it's tough because streaming is so convenient, and it's really hard to beat the home experience. First of all, you can pause it. You can, and if you go somewhere, it's kind of nice. If you go to an Alamo Drafthouse, it's kind of nice that like they can like make you food and stuff like that. It's definitely a cool experience. Mm-hmm. But I can kind of eat whatever I want when I'm at home, and like I don't have to like overpay for like gummies or something. I could just have like all the gummies that I want, or like whatever snack, like whatever weird stuff that like you like to eat, like you'll have because you have it in stock. Because I mean, I'm like being in a grocery store. Those are kind of hard to get things in stock. But presumably, you fill your house with things that you like. So watching something in a comfortable environment, it's really hard to beat. And I think, it's not just movies. It's what you want to do with that time. So if you're going to go somewhere to consume some kind of media, and I think you kind of nailed it on the head earlier, when you said that TV's pretty freaking good now. There's a lot of good television shows out. Some of these television shows, some of the action scenes that they have, some of the, just the CGI, the quality, the actors that are involved with some of these projects. Yeah. It used to be that like, wow, that was kind of cool that that big name actor is on a television show. Yeah. That's the norm now.
Yeah.
Like you always see like big name actors attached to big shows, and like no one blinks anymore. It's like, yeah, of course.
So to that end, two things. The Adjustment Bureau was the name of the movie. And then to that end, I wonder if that had a lot to do with the normalcy of like life around being on set for a television show. I think there's probably a pace to life that you can get a little used to, where like when you're at a movie, you've got like 36 days and you got to shoot multiple locations. You're flying all around, you're working long hours, and you're doing it all at the same time because it's a one intensive project. But if you're on a television show, that's kind of like, that's made money. You're playing the same character, over time. And there are the character actors or actors like Christian Bale, like that guy wants the new challenge. Like there's no way that guy's going to be in somebody else's skin for 4 years in a row. Mm-hmm. That's just not his gig, right? He's a chameleon. Right. And good for him. But I think they kind of saw the production also went up. The value of the production after, and this is when you and I actually started becoming friends, at the time of the writer's strike. Remember there was a huge strike in Hollywood where television just stopped getting made, and they stopped everything because they wanted a better deal, and they got it. And when it came back, I felt like there was a higher quality of things getting made after that, and it wasn't just on the networks anymore. Like that's the time when is it TBS or TNT kind of talking about HBO started making really good television. Right. All of these things like got really fantastic writers, and it had probably to do with the writing going up. And what you were saying is like television became okay for like top end actors to do, which was just like, I would never go do a television show if I am, what is a famous actress. I can't remember her name that I was thinking of. Okay. Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep would not. She has no use to go do television shows.
Right. But maybe she will. Who knows? She did.
Yeah, she did.
She does television shows.
Which is like speaks to kind of where things are, and
big little
norms change, right? Like creatures change, and it's real funny. Like whatever habits that humans have, like things they build things around themselves and what they like and how they operate.
Right.
I think it all has,
And I think also like you talk about like how there are actors that would not want to play the same character over and over again. There are some some actors rather that enjoy the deep dive and enjoy that exploration of being able to be kind of in that character's skin for multiple seasons, especially if it's like one of those really some of those prestige drama type shows like a Breaking Bad, where you really get to see a character like Walter White. That's a different character from at the end of the series than it was at the beginning of the series, and so you get to really see Bryan Cranston live that, and I feel like in some ways it really showed like his range and how great he was as an actor, especially since coming in, he was known as like this comedic actor that played like the klutzy dad on like was it Malcolm in the Middle? So
So to that end too, production value went up, but also seasons by number of episodes like pretty much universally came down. It used to be they would bang out like 22 to 26 or whatever episodes per season, just like every week was something. And that
quality over quantity for sure.
Yeah, where they really did upgrade that stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the production value, you talk about like HBO, and I know it's so weird because Game of Thrones is sort of panned just because of how it ended.
Right.
You can't forget of how incredible that show really was for many years. It was just captivating the audience. It's the most talked about show on television, and some of those battle scenes, they were just a spectacle. And you look at the budget for Game of Thrones, and you're talking about the same type of budget that you put on you'd have associated with a movie. So and so with that, and then also talent level, right? As the prestige of these high level television shows goes up, the talent follows it. So now you're having the,
You
these
can afford it. It's
top level
money.
writers.
It's money.
Right.
Hey, you know
Right.
what was willing to come and do a TV show? We can pay you like they pay you for a
Mm-hmm.
movie. And we're going to
Mm-hmm.
have like people at every position working that are the best in their field doing what they do. There's no more. I mean, yeah, just money makes the world go round, man.
For sure. For
So,
sure.
do you think it's a new way of life with the movies in this?
I think so. I think for you in particular, again, with the caveat that you guys are sort of non-traditional and that you don't consume a lot of media as a family, which I think is a great thing. But um, as a as like a dad, if you're talking about going to the movie theater and you're taking the family out, think about how much that costs for your wife and your kids, right? And
Yeah.
then like maybe like a soda, popcorn, like whatever.
Oh yeah.
At home, how much does that cost for you to like make popcorn and like get drinks? Like very little, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we're talking about you can get that pay-per-view for $20 same day.
Mm-hmm.
That
And I
I
don't have
think
to like drive there,
just from a
drive home,
financial
putting.
perspective
Yeah.
alone, don't you think like families would be like, yeah, we would love to go watch the latest Disney movie, or we would love to watch the latest like whatever. Even if you're watching like a summer blockbuster, I think maybe Fast and the Furious might not be appropriate for kids, but Fast and the Furious is definitely summer blockbuster type movie, right? And if you can like watch that at home for less than you would go to the movies, even if it's just like because usually you go out like. I mean, I know some people like to go to the movie theaters by themselves, but generally it's like a date or you're going with like friends or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, even if you took your wife to the movie theater, it was like $15 a ticket or something. It's 30
Yeah.
bucks.
Yeah.
So,
It was
so,
getting up there.
so even if you were just taking your wife on a date to the movies, it's cheaper now to just get it $20 same day. Yeah, I think if that's the new world, I would imagine that's going to cannibalize that portion of the industry. There's gonna be so many people that do that instead.
And also when you want. I don't have to go to a 7:10 showing.
Oh yeah, eat dinner whenever you want, and
Yeah.
then in 9:15, it could be as specific as you want. And we're gonna
Right.
watch a 9:27 showing because that's what works on my
Yeah,
schedule,
man. Yeah.
and you get it for 24 hours.
Yeah.
So once you purchase it, you could watch it. If you like really liked it, you could watch it again the next day. I mean,
So how do I
it's pretty
invest
cool.
in streaming?
Let's just get in there now. First, let's.
See first. Insider trading.
You're the first to think of it.
Is that insider trading? If I'm on a movie manual, I have insider information.
By the way, streaming services are a very good time. It's a good business.
It
Good
is.
gig to,
So what are your platforms? What are your streaming platforms? What are you?
Hmm?
What streaming platforms do you use
Oh,
for your movies or for these projects?
right. You're just talking about like
Just a preference, just a general.
I guess like Netflix is so ubiquitous, right? Like everyone has Netflix. You have Netflix now.
I do.
um, we have Hulu, and Hulu seems to be pretty good.
Hulu's
We also
great.
have
I also have Hulu.
also have Disney Plus, which doesn't it? Yeah, you have your Disney
You
stuff
have
on.
to
I
have
don't
it.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know if we watched it as much, but it is pretty cool. We watched Frozen 2.
Access, man. Having access to to their IP is just.
And the Mandalorian was
Yeah.
dope. So I enjoyed that. I would like to see a couple of other offerings there. We do not have Apple. Apple has a series on there that I'm pretty. I was pretty intrigued to watch. It's the people behind Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and they did like sort of like a tech, like the guy that plays Mac is sort of this like eccentric, like in many ways, kind of like the character, the Three Commas character from Silicon Valley, like just kind of like a big ego, has like this sort of a world of like he like in this world he kind of created like a World of Warcraft like game, a very big, very popular game, and there's like pressure on him to sort of expand on that and all sorts of stuff. So I saw that. I was kind of intrigued, but it didn't seem like there was a lot there. So we did. I think it's like one of the only ones that we don't have. I think we have most of the.
Yeah, because we've got. I mean, everybody has Amazon. Yeah, we got Amazon.
Because you got Prime.
Prime, yeah.
It's like there's no way you don't have Prime, right? So I'm trying to think. I think those are the main ones,
That's kind of
and even
it,
then, it
right?
seems
I
like
mean,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
There's like Voodoo. I don't know much about that one. I've seen it. I don't have Apple either. Are you? Can you pay per use on Apple, or is that you buy it as a package and you get it?
I think you buy it. I don't even think it's like particularly expensive. I
Hmm.
just didn't really see a lot on there. I think if we would add another streaming service, it would be like these channels that now create their own quote unquote streaming
Yeah.
service, like CBS or something like that. I think we used to have HBO just because we had cable, and then we cut the cord. Oh, I forgot. We have YouTube.
Oh,
YouTube TV.
okay. Is that are there movies on YouTube? What's their? Do they have their own
There
in-house
are
production?
yeah, well they do have their own they do have their own produced shows like the Cobra Kai, which
Hmm.
is sort
Oh
of
yeah,
a
it was
it's
great.
like the sequel to the
Karate
Karate
Kid.
Kid. It's like them now. It's actually
Yeah.
pretty good. Um, but not much. They don't have a lot of their own original content. It's mainly a cable alternative. So
Hmm.
you have a lot of your cable networks on there, your FX, TBS, TNT stuff. So I get it for sports.
Oh, you know
Because
they even
not a lot of
before sports went away, like that deal was kind of like hanging in the balance, right? So interesting. Yeah, those are all. I mean, yeah, everybody kind of has everything now. You know, we don't have. We've been cord cutters. Like we cut the cord 1 year into marriage, and when you talked about like my kids not having television, like we save for that thing, which has never actually been turned on. Don't have
really.
TVs. Yeah, I have three TVs in the house, and two of them have not been turned on like ever. I don't even know. That
That's
might be a prop. I don't know. It came with the house. But yeah, so I mean that's a conscious decision we made, but we love the streaming. So I say that to say like we haven't had a DirecTV or a cable company in our lives in since we got married for sure. We were just like a basic cable people, but even since then, like the streaming has really been with me and kind of picking and choosing. And I've moved around. I usually keep two or three, and when I see something, I tried the the live streaming starts with an S. I might even have the
Sling.
Sling. Yeah, we had Sling. And that was just so I could watch stuff that was on ESPN, March Madness, stuff like that. Did you see NBC Peacock TV is coming? Like they bought The Office.
Yep.
That's a
Yeah,
big
yeah.
one. It's good. I mean, if NBC is gonna last, I know for I haven't looked at it for a while, but when I last left like television, they were like slowly moving down the ranks because must see TV had ended in the 90s basically, and they were just kind of trailing everybody. And CBS with their NCISs and all that kind of just took over, primetime television. But if they
Yeah.
can harness and bring all their properties back in with Seinfeld and Friends, and I mean, you talk about something that's just like gonna live forever. I want to be if we're talking about like investing in like streaming. If I could be like a friend on Friends, like that would be like the cush job. Like just do 10 years of work and constantly. Ricky Gervais
Yeah.
talks about this. I think he's a bit in his one stand up where he's like, all he ever wanted to do was like do a thing a couple times and make money off that idea in perpetuity, which he basically did with The Office. He made 6 episodes of it, and then like somebody else kind of did it, and he got to make all the money off of it.
Yeah. No, not a bad life. I have a good idea. I think this is a pretty good idea. I
Oh
think
yeah.
this is gonna take off.
For just you
Yeah.
and I, my mom, my parent, my family will love it. We're gonna have at least like 9 solid watches on this thing.
Yeah. You want to know why Vietnam sounds distant?
Because he's
Vietnam's
in
far away. Have
Vietnam.
you looked at it on a map? Come on.
Wonderful. I love it. Shout out to mom. I hope you're watching. This is coffee, by the
She's watching. Hi, Vietnam here.
way. Awesome, man. Well, no, I think this has been good. A good kind of primer and a little bit of everything. Kind of like you trying to keep us on task and me not me going against that. So that's more to look for. If you like stuff like that, this is the place for it.
And if you don't, I mean, seriously, what else are you going to be doing, man? And we're all, you know what? They say like we're all in this together, but really what they mean is we're just all stuck in this together, right? So, hey, why not come and hang out with us for a bit? I usually when we end these, it's kind of like, hey,
Go vote.
we want you to tell them about like, well, where can they find you on social media, like all that. Are we doing that now?
I think not.
Let me do it for you. So you don't have to do it for yourself. You can find this guy on Twitter. Great follow at wait a minute. Oh, you used to be a BB artist, but now you're something else. Go ahead.
Look at it. Look, go. Oh, you don't have the stream pulled up anymore. It's on. They already know who you are, Viet. If you with this cool overlay that I was able to build for the site. So that's
right there. Are you on this side
at the ticket P1? No, yeah, and then that's you under. So that's at the ticket P1. That's me, and then at Face the Facts 22, my boy Viet Duan, Vietnam Duan Nan.
Oh man.
Great. Well, this is fantastic.
A good time and always always a lot of fun and a pleasure hanging out and doing this with you, Glenn.
Thank you, sir.
All right, guys.
All right, guys.
Until next time.
Have a good night.
We're out.